Formula One's silly season just found its plot twist, and it's not coming from who you'd expect. In the shadows of a chaotic and unforgettable Canadian Grand Prix, one of the paddock's most composed and respected drivers is now at the centre of a potential shakeup that could send shockwaves through the grid. George Russell, long seen as Mercedes' next team leader, may not be as locked in as we all thought. Behind the smiles, podium celebrations, and Wolff's calm exterior, something far bigger is brewing. This isn't just a contract negotiation, it's a power shift, a silent tug-of-war that could redefine the balance between two of Formula One's most ambitious projects. As teams scramble to position themselves for the sweeping regulation changes in 2026, one name has quietly emerged as a major piece on the chessboard, and the moves happening behind closed doors suggest we're on the verge of a bombshell. Nobody, and I mean nobody, saw this coming. Mercedes just blew the doors off Formula One at the Canadian Grand Prix. After a season of teetering on the edge of competitiveness, they've just dropped a bombshell on the grid with a mind-blowing double podium finish. George Russell? Not just back, he's back with vengeance. But while Toto Wolff might be toasting this surprise win for the next 2 weeks, there's a storm brewing behind the scenes. Russell's contract is up at the end of the year, and with Wolff openly eyeballing Max Verstappen, 9 races in, 3 winners, Oscar Piastri, Lando Norris, Max Verstappen, that's it. These guys weren't just winning, they were locking out the podium, snagging second place in 7 out of 9 races. The rest of the field, mere spectators. But then, boom, Canada happened, and everything changed. The McLarens, usually rapid thanks to their grip and tyre wizardry, were left scratching their heads. Why? Because Montreal threw them a curveball. This circuit doesn't care about your mid-corner finesse. It's all about slamming the brakes, nailing the throttle, and launching out of corners. McLaren's strength, neutralised. Their dominance, gone. George Russell wasn't here to play, he was here to conquer. Pole position, taken, pressure, ignored, last year's slip-up, avenged. He didn't just lead, he dominated from lights out to checkered flag. Call it redemption, call it a statement, this was Russell unleashed. Speaking to Sky Sports, Russell couldn't hide his relief. It feels a bit of a redemption compared to last year because I was really disappointed with my performance. We should have won. It was my mistakes that let the team down. But I'm in a different place right now. I feel like I'm driving better than ever. I felt pretty chilled throughout the whole race. On the other hand, Andrea Kimi Antonelli, this 18-year-old prodigy, just smashed his way onto the podium and into the record books. With just 1 season of F2 behind him, many doubted whether he was ready. His first 9 races? Decent. 5 points finishes. Nothing crazy. But in Canada, he turned heads. At just 18 years and 294 days old, Antonelli became the 3rd youngest driver ever to stand on a Formula One podium. Only Max Verstappen and Lance Stroll were younger, and the way he did it, stone cold. Passed Oscar Piastri into turn 2, held his nerve under immense pressure, and never looked back. This wasn't a lucky break, this was a statement. So how did Mercedes pull this off? Especially when the cooler weather they usually love didn't even show up. Toto Wolff let the secret slip. We've had some things changing on the car. We have a new rear suspension. I'm really happy how the team has managed that. The trackside team, and also back in the factory, how these things have been coming onto the car. But I guess you need to look at the track layout. Montreal was always good to us. It lacks the typical high-speed corners, where we suffer more in the heat. That's one. And number 2, it's quite a smooth asphalt here, which is less abrasive and therefore less damaging to our car that suffers from rear tyre degradation and overheating. Translation: Montreal's layout equals Mercedes' playground. McLaren's edge melted away. Tyre wear wasn't a nightmare. Mercedes had the grip, the pace, and the execution. When overheating isn't a factor, Mercedes are a rocket ship. But once the track temp spikes, that's when McLaren strike back. The war's not over, it's just heating up. George Russell has been a standout his entire career, from miracle runs with Williams to pushing Lewis Hamilton inside Mercedes. Yet here we are, 14 races left and no contract signed. Why? Because Toto Wolff has his eyes on Max Verstappen, the reigning king of F1, and Toto's interest isn't subtle, it's loud, public, and making waves. 2026 circle that year. Everything changes. New engines, new aero rules, a total reset of the pecking order. Teams see opportunity. Drivers Drivers see lifelines and risks. Aston Martin, they're rolling the dice in a big way. Out goes Mercedes power. In comes Honda. It might sound like a downgrade unless you're paying attention. Why? Because with Honda, Aston becomes their sole customer. That means full control. They'll get a power unit designed specifically for their car. No more compromise, no more squeezing someone else's engine into their setup. Today, buying engines from Mercedes means Aston Martin can't dictate how the rear of their car is built. The power unit defines everything: rear suspension, packaging, airflow. But Honda, total freedom. And guess who's cooking up designs? Adrian Newey, the F1 genius, the man behind countless world titles, now at Aston Martin. You give this guy control and he delivers magic. But magic needs a driver, a superstar, someone proven, someone hungry, and all roads point to George Russell. According to Auto, Motor and Sport, paddock insiders are buzzing. Aston Martin have made Russell their #1 target for the 2026 revolution. His contract is ticking down. Mercedes are stalling. The door is open. Asked if his Canadian GP win helps his contract talks, Russell smirked. It doesn't hurt. It doesn't hurt at all. But as I've said many times, I'm not concerned at all about next year. I know I'm going to be on the grid. Russell's been loyal to Mercedes. They gave him his shot. But loyalty only stretches so far when your team boss is openly flirting with Verstappen. Let's not kid ourselves. Antonelli is the future. Russell is the now. And if Wolff has a shot at Max, Russell's out. Period. Russell's being polite, diplomatic, but the tension, it's real. There haven't been any hard feelings with any of the talks that have been going around, especially around Max, he said. Because, like I said numerous times, why wouldn't teams be interested in Max? If every driver had a clean, no contracts for next year's slate, Max would be the #1 for every single team. And that's understandable. So what's next? Aston Martin isn't just a rebound team. They've got cash, thanks to serious Middle Eastern investment. They can outbid Mercedes. And with 1/3 team owner Ineos facing major financial trouble, including lawsuits over missed payments to teams like New Zealand's rugby squad and Tottenham Hotspur, Mercedes can't match that firepower. Russell's move wouldn't just be smart, it'd be seismic. Behind the scenes, the Newey effect is already shifting tectonic plates. Drivers talk, engineers whisper. Everyone knows when Newey builds a car, you listen. Russell may not just be eyeing a better contract, he could be chasing a once-in-a-lifetime chance to drive the final masterpiece from the greatest designer in F1 history. But that's just the start, because Russell's potential move isn't some isolated paddock drama. It could be the first domino in a full-blown driver market earthquake. If he leaves, Antonelli steps up. If Antonelli steps up, Mercedes locks in their future. And that leaves one question looming over the grid like a storm cloud. Where does that leave Max Verstappen? Could Red Bull lose their crown jewel? Could Mercedes offer him the throne? One decision, one signature, and the entire 2026 grid could implode and reassemble before our eyes. What started as a quiet contract year has suddenly become the biggest story in Formula One, and George Russell might just be holding the detonator. So what do you think? Is Russell ready to flip the script? Could Aston Martin pull off the coup of the century? Let us know in the comments. Until next time, goodbye for now.